can see, a growing strike doesn't always have to come from the knee or the kick. It can be as simply as an elbow to the groin. All you have to do is crouch it a little bit. And welcome back to Tactical Tuesday with Johnny Tiger. The date is May, what is it, 17th, 2022. I'm just adjusting my headset because these headsets are getting a little bit old and a little bit loose. A little old, a little loose. Okay, no dirty jokes there. Just saying, headsets getting a bit old and a bit loose, so they're a little bit wobbly on my head. Uh, anyway, they still work fine. You guys can still hear me, so that's good. So today I want to go through a little bit of a lecture because we've been doing more techniques for a couple of sessions, and um, I think we need to balance that off with something for the mind. Uh, Now, usually when I do this, I don't stay on camera, but today, because I might have time when I want to illustrate a point, uh, and I need you guys to be able to see my movements and things like this. So today we're going to talk about the four essential ingredients for you to survive a physical confrontation. The most basic components you need to have when you are engaged in a physical altercation. Let me quickly say this. Again, I mentioned this before, but it's worth mentioning again, that when you are already involved in a physical altercation, your self-defense has failed. This is no longer a self-defense situation. Yeah, you can still claim self-defense in court. I'm not talking about legal terminology. I'm talking about, strictly speaking, self-defense from a martial art, from an intellectual point of view. The whole point of self-defense is you don't get into that situation in the first place. Okay? Because when you're in an altercation, no matter if you win or lose, no matter if you come out alive or what's going on, most likely you will get hurt. So it should be the last resort of the last resort. Okay? This is why a lot of people say to me, uh, "You are so badass. You must you know, uh, not let anyone talk crap to you, and uh, you must be so good and confident, and everyone have to fear you and stuff like that." I'm like, no, no. My whole life, I've been learning, teaching martial art and self-defense. I know what self-defense is about, and I live my life by that logic, by that code. So if someone come up to me and uh, try to be rude or stuff like that, most likely I'm going to take the path of peace. I'm going to be a pussy, okay? I'm going to be a pussy. Someone come up to me and say, Johnny, do you think you can beat me in a fight? No, man, no, man. I don't want to fight you. Dude, I'm blind. I don't want to fight you. Like, what do you want to beat up a blind man, huh? Because I understand that there is no winner, there's no glory in a physical altercation unless it's on a stage, unless it's in the ring, unless you have millions of dollars on the line, or you're just sparring with each other for pleasure or for education. Otherwise, there's really no winner. It's like war, okay? No matter what happens, a lot of people are going to die, a lot of property get destroyed, a lot of money gets spent. In a physical altercation, it's like this too. It doesn't matter how badass you are. It doesn't matter how badass I am. I can be Johnny Tiger, the most badass blind uh, a A-list uh, mother figure in the world. I'm trying to cut down on the swearing, but I need to get the feeling across, right? I can be the most badass blind mother figure in the world, and all it's going to take is someone who walk up to me. They don't even have to walk up behind me, right? Because I can see them coming. So all it would take is someone walk up to me, trying to not make a sound on the street, and hit me over the head with a brick. And years of education, years of knowledge go right out the window. Assuming I even survive that, I would probably end up uh, with memory loss and other kind of head trauma related stuff. Right? It's not worth it. Even if I'm, and I'm not saying I am, I'm saying even if I was badass enough, let's say I'm some kind of blind daredevil ninja that I can take on 40 people at one time. They can come with me, all 40 at the same time, armed with knives and guns, and I can take them out, right? Let's say I'm that good, which I'm not. Let's say if I'm not that good. All it takes is someone who stands across the street from me, waiting for me to walk past, and then shoot me in the head. Right? I wouldn't even see them standing there. So there's no gain to be had. Be a badass to put yourself out there. So again, now I'm digressing a little bit. I did tell you guys that this is going to be a lecture day, so it's going to be a bit long-winded, right? Um, Going back to what I said, when there's a physical altercation, your self-defense has failed. This is no longer self-defense. Now let's look at physical altercation itself. When there's a physical conflict, physical altercation, when there's a fight, there's only two kinds. I mean, I'm not going to uh, think about like crazy stuff like war, uh, you know, communists finally invading North America, like aliens coming or zombie apocalypse. Or so. I mean, we want to stay grounded in reality, okay? Like in most possible scenario. There's only two kinds of physical altercation. The kind you agree to, the kind you don't agree to. Neither of them is self-defense. The kind that you agree to, some people say, what do you mean the kind you agree to? That doesn't make sense. The kind of physical altercation you agree to is, okay, let's say you really think you're really badass, and you go and challenge people to a fight on the street, or you spar with someone in a dojo, or you put yourself out there to earn money doing this, like being in the ring, or fighting for your country in a tournament, stuff like that. Those are fights. Those are physical altercations you agree to. Other physical altercations you agree to. Let's say someone really pissed you off, right? And you are so confident that you are that badass that you can take him on. So you start saying snarky things, you start jostling him, waiting for him to finally had enough of it. And he throw that first punch, and then you jump in and destroy him, right? That's an altercation that you want. That's something you agree to. Doesn't matter what kind of outcome, you agree to that altercation. So it's not self-defense. This is uh, self-inflicted conflict. The second kind of physical altercation, the kind that you do not agree to, you go, I don't want to do this. Is, well, let's say someone break into your house in the middle of the night armed with a baseball bat and a machete. Well, you don't really have a choice. In that case, you kind of have to fight to stay alive. Okay? So still, this is no longer self-defense. This is survival. The fight, the altercation that you do not agree to, you didn't agree to, but happened to you anyway. This is survival, not self-defense. what is the difference between self-defense and survival? Self-defense is me saying, "Hey man, I really don't want any trouble. Hey, can we just like talk? Go have a beer, shake hands. I'll call you daddy. I'll buy you a beer. Heck, I'll give you my phone. Okay, just leave me alone. I don't want to fight. I don't want any trouble." That is self-defense. Self-defense is when you do things to avoid getting hurt. Okay, do things to avoid getting hurt. That is self-defense. Survival, on the other hand, involve it entails me doing anything to make sure that I will survive. Which means if the person come at me with, let's say, the person come at me with a knife. Yeah, the person come with me with a knife. Right? I in a survival circumstance, I would be willing to let them put a knife in my hand. If put that cut me on the arm with a knife, stab me on the arm with a knife, if that means I can trap their arm and rip their throat out and rip their eyes out and then get a knife and cut them, right? That is survival. That is not self-defense because I am willing, in this case, to get hurt just so I can walk out of here, so I can survive. Okay? But more on that on another day. Today I want to talk about the four essential elements in surviving and uh, coming out okay in a physical conflict, in a fight. I'll lay all four of them out first because it's pretty straightforward, and then we'll talk about them one at a time. The four essential ingredients, the four essential basic elements that you need to be able to survive a physical conflict. I don't want to say to win a physical conflict because there should be no winning or losing. Is first, move with purpose. Move with purpose. Number two, to attack with intent. Number three, to engage with conviction. And number four, to think with clarity. Again, number one, move with purpose. Number two, attack with intent. Number three, engage with conviction. And number four, think with clarity. The four pillars, the four basic, most fundamental elements you need to be able to survive and to come out okay in a physical conflict. Now, let's take them one at a time. To move with purpose, we go through our daily life, a lot of us, making gestures, putting our hands on our hip or crossing our arms, or standing in comfortable way, maybe one foot slightly up on tiptoe and putting our weight on the other leg. We do a lot of these things, and a lot of these things have no real purpose. We do them because it's habit or because it's comfortable. When you're in a physical conflict, every one of your movements have to have purpose. Okay? When you step forward, you have to make sure that step accomplishes something. If you step back, you have to make sure that step allow you the range to kick. When you sidestep, you have to make sure that sidestep accomplish something, get you out of the harm's way and get you into a better position to grab the person from the side and bring that knee up and around. Okay, when someone comes in toward you and you want to block them, you have to have a purpose. Did you just use the back of your hand? If you did, why? Did you use your palm? If you did, why? Okay, all these things have to have a purpose. Now, there are a lot of movement in fighting that should be without thought. There's a lot of it should be muscle memory. That is true. However, if afterwards someone play a video back and ask you why did you do this, you should be able to say, I did this because it felt right at the time, because I needed to do this, because I needed to do that at the time, right? These things should have purpose. Movement without purpose become a waste of energy, and also, more so, they put you in danger. When you shuffle forward, rather than picking up your foot, and then you get tripped, well, that's because you didn't think about why did you move your leg that way, right? So every movement needs to have purpose. Before an engagement, let's say I'm sitting down in a chair and someone come up and start getting in my face, I may cross my leg, but I'm not crossing my leg because it feels good. Okay? The reason I cross my leg is because I have a knife in my boot. So I am already thinking 3 steps ahead where my knife is. Okay? When the person get in my face and start um, harassing me, I may choose to. I don't have a table here, but I just pretend. I may choose to lean my elbow on the table while talking to him. Why is that? Because I look non-threatening in this case, but more so because I'm testing to see if this table can be picked up. Trying to see if this table is bolted to the floor, right? So if he get in my face, I can shove the table into him if I have to and get up at the same time. Or I can, since my arms are already on the table, if the table cannot be moved, it's bolted down, and the person comes at me with a knife, I can go under the table and go out the other side, right? A lot of these movements need to have purpose. To move with purpose when you're engaged in a violent altercation. Okay? Number two, attack with intent. I talked about this before, actually, this one. Um, Let me show you guys a little demonstration to illustrate this. A lot of time, a lot of time, um, women self-defense, what do they teach you? The first move they teach you is a kick to the groin, right? A kick to the groin. However, a lot of time when women go to use this move, it fails. And why does that fail? Because kicking someone in the groin, if all women know this move, all men know this move. When a man attacks a woman, the man expects the woman to do this move, a kick to the groin, right? So when the woman goes, hi-ya, into the groin, the man already crossed his leg, so the woman kicked him on the leg instead. However, this fails not just because the kick didn't hit the groin. The kick should work regardless. I'm going to tell you, if I go kick someone in the groin, and that person turn his leg, so I don't get him in the groin, I get him in the leg, he's going down regardless, right? Because I'm not counting on just that groin to stop the guy. I'm counting on the force of my kick. My intention is I'm going to shove my foot through whatever it come in contact with. I don't care if it's your groin. I don't care if it's your arm. I don't care if it's your kneecap. Whatever I kick, it's going through, right? So intent. Don't count on hitting the right target. You need to count on that intent more so. Is more important in a fight. Okay? When I throw a punch in a fight, I'm not worrying about I get the person. A lot of people ask me, how do you know you can hit the person in the face, or how do you know to hit them on the right spot when you're blind? I said I don't worry about it. I don't worry about that. If I'm in a fight, if I'm a violent altercation, when I throw that punch, whatever I hit, I'm going to go through it. So if the person put his arm in the way, I'm going to go right through the arm. If the person turned and I hit him on the shoulder, I'm going to dislocate that shoulder or go right through it. Right? If the person put his head in the way, I'm going to break through that head. Okay? I may break my hand in the process, but my intention, my intent is whatever I hit goes down. Number three, engage with conviction. This falls in line with the previous one. But engage means when you block, when someone hits you and you block, or when you grab someone and try to take them down, right? You need to have conviction. If someone really big come at you and swing a punch at your head, and you put your hand up like, I don't know if I can block that, then boom, you're not going to block that, right? But if you put your arm out like this person is the size of a twig, and you go, I am not going to get hit by that. You're not going to hit me. Pow! Right? Doesn't I'm not saying that it is going to work 100% of the time, right? Because you try to block a baseball bat, if your arm is going to break. But this is going to serve you a lot better than lack of conviction. When you grab someone to take them down, there's no, this guy's really big. I don't know if this is going to work. There's none of that in the physical altercation. Physical altercation, if I grab someone, down he go. I don't care how big he is. Okay? Reality might not work that way, but in my mind, this has to work, right? Because if I don't have that conviction, then I might as well just lay down and let him do whatever he wants to me because I already lost the fight if I don't have that conviction. So when I engage, every movement, every block, every grab, every evasion have to be with conviction. I have to know in my heart, in my head, that this is going to work. When the punch is coming and I move, I'm not going to stop and go, wow, I dodged that. No, because I knew in my head I was going to dodge that anyway. So the moment I move, I'm already coming in. I'm already in action. I don't need to stop and admire or be surprised by my success because I had conviction that this was going to be successful to begin with. Number four, think with clarity. This is the hardest one. This is really is the hardest one because when there's a lot of adrenaline and fear and anger and pain, don't forget sometimes when we think about self-defense, we're thinking someone grab us and then we do this cool self-defense move and then we beat the crap out of them, right? That's not always the case. Sometimes self-defense or survival means the person grab you and starting to smack the crap out of you. And by the time you start to react, you already got hit in the face 2 or 3 times. You're bleeding from your cut lips. Your eyes are swollen. Okay, your nose is broken. You already got kicked in the groin. Yes, attackers do kick you in the groin sometimes, right? But even through all that, you need to think with clarity. Because the most powerful, and listen up for this one, most powerful weapon a human possesses is between your ears. It's not your fist, it's not your knee, it's not your elbow, it's not your leg. It's between your ears. Okay, the moment you let your brain get addled and you stop thinking is when you get killed in a survival situation. Right? Let me cap up this video with a little real personal story with you guys. Um, this happened when I was 16. I was uh, at a summer camp. There was a guy, very, very buff dude. He was like professional bodybuilder kind of guy, like really, really into his what he did. He really strong. Him and I were actually about the same size, but when I was 16, I was more like pudgy, and the guy was every ounce like he was maybe 7% body fat, like really lean and strong. Yeah, he was 19 years old, so he was older than me. Um, so anyway, long story short, this guy and I got into a bit of a public brawl. Not like all out, down and dirty street fighting kind of brawl, but more like we were standing around with other guys, and then other guys started saying, "Oh, you can't take Johnny," or "Johnny, you can't take him," and the next thing you know, ego kicked in, and we went at each other like like a uh, sparring like a sparring match without rule. It's like a like street level sparring, shall we say? And after tussling with the guy a bit, uh, like I said, he was very strong. He was very fit, so he was actually getting the upper hand. And so at one point, he grabbed me up and body slammed me down to the floor, and he came down at my with his forearm, came down right across my neck to slam me down like that. At that point, I did something that most people missed. Most people didn't even see it. And when he dropped his forearm down on my throat, my left hand went out, tapped him on his throat. My right hand brushed across the front of his eye, and then I tapped out. And then we stood up, and we shook hands, and everyone congratulated him, kicked my ass, and all that stuff, and everyone went home happy. Later, he came to me and he said, "I want to thank you." I said, "For what?" He said, "I understand that if that was a real fight, you would have messed me up really, really badly because you could have torn out my throat and my eyes before I did anything else." I just nodded and smiled, and yeah, there was no call for that. Just a friendly little brawl with the fisticuff, and no point drawing blood. Um, and we stayed good friends for quite a while. So this story illustrates both of us, even when we were involved in something quite physical and slamming and punching the crap out of each other, we both had that clarity of thought. He was clear enough in the head that he realized what I was doing was not without purpose. That if I could touch him on the throat, I could rip it out. If I could touch him across the eyes, I could rip the eyes out. Right? He realized that at the time. Um, and I, on the other hand, I had the clarity of thought to realize, okay, this is just a little scuffle. There's no reason to escalate this to maiming the guy for his life. There's no point for that. It's okay to just tap out. So I think we both did really well in this circumstance, and I think a lot of street level violent altercation when things get really out of hand and people end up getting killed. It's when one person or both person or multiple people lose their clarity in their head and do not stop when things need to stop. Okay, there's a big gap between knocking someone down, making sure they cannot hurt you anymore, to bashing their head until they're dead. I mean, there's a really big gap. Uh, Accident happens sometimes, but most of the time, if you have the clarity of mind, then you can control the outcome of a violent altercation to a certain degree. So, before we go, quick recap: move with purpose, attack with intent, engage with conviction, and think with clarity. Thank you for checking out today's Tactical Tuesday. We'll be back again tomorrow sometime Wisdom Wednesday. For now, have a good night.